Okay, a gentleman, as I say, who, as soon as I met him, I got on with him straight away. We had a great friendship. And I said to him one day, I said, look, I said, have you ever thought of writing a book? And he said, yeah, I've thought of writing one, but I don't know how to go about it. I said, well, I've got a mate called Cass Pennant. I'll give him a ring. And Cass rung him, and the rest is history. As I say, this man is a man who is, you know, I don't even notice when the camera was on Joe, you couldn't see Mike Tyson behind me because he was so wide. But you know something? The width of his shoulders is the width of his heart. He would do anything for you. He would. If I phoned Joe up and said, Joe, I'm in trouble, do A, B and C, I know he'd do it. And I might have to do it after tonight anyway. But he would do it. He'd do anything for anybody because that is a measure of the man. He is a gentle giant. And if you can go in the ring with Mike Tyson, you know, apart from Evander Holyfield, Joe Egan is the only man to step in the ring with Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield and not be KO'd. They've all been knocked off their feet or knocked out. He's the only man apart from Evander Holyfield to get in the ring with Lewis and Tyson and not be knocked out. I've seen his moments when, you know, he's been almost weeping in tears because he's just an emotional man, but he is a lovely man. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the floor the man we've come here to honour, Mr. Joe Egan. Okay, Joe, take us back to the beginning. You're a young boy in Ireland. What was life like growing up there?
We had a lot of hard times, but I think you've got to experience hard times to appreciate good times. You know, I had very humble beginnings, but you find most fighters, most boxers, come from very humble beginnings, you know. So boxing is a sort of a way out of the gutter for most fighters, and it was a way out for me, you know. I had a great childhood, you know. I had brothers and sisters, and 2 brothers and 4 sisters, so I wasn't lonely, but you know, it was hard. But boxing, I believe it or believe it not, the boxing was probably one of the easiest parts of my life. You know, sharing the ring with Tyson was easy because inside the ropes, you know, you couldn't really get lost. It's outside the ropes that you get lost. But everything's good.
Okay, growing up, as you started to box, before you met Mike Tyson in your amateur days, who were your idols? Who did you look up to?
Oh, I love Muhammad Ali. You know, I idolised Ali. You know, I used to do an Ali shuffle as a tribute to Muhammad Ali. When you know, we used to watch Muhammad Ali. You know, when I was growing up, and I used to dream about, you know, being world champion. But even King's dream, you know. Scott got the fight for the world heavyweight title, and he was very unfortunate not to be the world heavyweight champion. You know, I shared the ring with a lot of world champions, which was a great honour. But Muhammad Ali, when I finally got to meet him, I was actually shaking more than he was shaking, and he's got Parkinson's disease. But Mike Tyson actually introduced us to him. My dad had met him. And my nephew Tom had met him in 1996. I got photographs with my nephew Tom, you know, squaring up to Muhammad Ali. But he was a cheeky little kid, that fella. He squared up to everybody. But when I did finally get to meet him, it was a dream come true, you know. But he's my idol, Ali. I love him.
Yeah, I think he's the greatest of all time. And I know Mike was an absolute phenomenal fighter. Now, do you know, a lot of people talk about an event that a lot of people didn't see, and you witnessed an event in history that a lot of people talk about. It's a bit like an underground fight when they talk about maybe Lenny McLean and Pretty Boy Roy Shaw. Now, there was an incident when Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis were both about 21 years old. I know he was. And you were there. Now, folklore says Mike Tyson got the better of Lennox. Folklore says Lennox got the better of Mike Tyson. Can you tell us what really happened that day? Because if you speak to Lennox today, he says he done the best. Mike says he done the best. Reporters say different things. Could you tell us the truth?
Lennox Lewis was a friend of mine. I fought Lennox Lewis, and he's a good pal of mine. Like all boxers, there's a great camaraderie with boxing. You know, anytime I see Lennox, we sit down and we play a game of chess. You know, I've never beaten them at chess, but it's a lot less painful to lose a chess than it was to lose a boxing. But Lennox is a pal of mine. But I was in the gym when Tyson and Lennox was sparring, and Lennox's trainer at the time was a Canadian guy called Arnie Boehm. He's dead now, God rest him. But Lennox was brought in to spar with Tyson, and I saw Mike Tyson, I was there, I saw Mike Tyson knock Lennox, spark out. I'm sitting ringside. I thought, God, he was unconscious. He was out for a good 5 minutes. I'm looking, I thought to myself, geez, I could beat him. especially in that state. But I saw Mike Tyson knock Lennox Lewis out, and he was the number 2 in the world at the time as an amateur. And I saw Mike knock him out. And I fought Lennox shortly afterwards, but he beat me on points. It was a good fight. But I remember reading an article when Lennox was to fight Mike Tyson. I was away on holiday, and Her Majesty's pleasure at the time. You know, but I remember reading the article in the newspaper about Lennox was Lewis's trainer, saying that he was the only man still alive, apart from Lennox and Mike, that witnessed Lennox Lewis smashed Mike Tyson to bits and knocked Mike Tyson out in sparring. And I was in prison. I was nearly going to escape just to go and confront him. But no, when Mike Tyson fought Lennox Lewis, you know, it's common knowledge. Mike was a beaten force before he got into the ring. You know, Mike Tyson has been abusing drugs for years, you know, and he's a shell of a man. And when he fought Lennox Lewis, this is actual fact, you know, and you can check this up. Don't take my word for it, you can check this up. Jose Solomon, the president of the WBC, the president of the World Boxing Council, categorically said they would accept a positive urine test of Mike Tyson. They knew Mike Tyson was drugged out of his mind when he fought Lennox Lewis. Now, Lennox Lewis beat what was in front of him, but it was a shell of Mike Tyson. You know, Mike Tyson was thrown in like a piece of meat, and even then it took Lennox Lewis 8 rounds to smash a man to bits that had nothing left to offer. You know, he was drugged out of his mind, and it's a shame, really. But Lennox Lewis has been a great champion, but I've seen 2 young men in their primes of life and both healthy, and on that day, Mike Tyson smashed Lennox Lewis to bits.
Now, I know Mike is a big fan of yours. I know he's a big, and I know he really does love you, because when we had conversations about it, he used to say, you know, Joe Egan, you know, I love Joe Egan, he's a great man, Joe Egan, you know, and that squeaky voice. You say, I love Joe, you know, I spar many times with Joe, and Joe a tough man. You say, you know, I used to hit people, I used to knock them out, but Joe keep coming. He said, Joe tough, Joe's a son of a bitch. That's what he said. But I know he really does respect you as a human being as well as a fighter, because he said that he used to work on intimidation, and he said a lot of people would get in the ring, and, you know, when they got roughed up, they'd go down, he said, but you were always standing at the end. I
was a bit stupid. I got battered by Tyson. You know, I got battered for, you know, a lot of rounds with Mike Tyson. But he never put me down, you know, but other men put me down. You know, I had a good heart, I got back up. But Mike Tyson never put me down, and Lennox Lewis never put me down. We were in the gym one day, and there was 4 white sparring partners. And Mike Tyson knocked 3 of them out, and I was number 4, and he battered me from pillar to post. He made me cry so many times. But at that particular day, he says, Joe Egan is the toughest white man on the planet. I was the toughest white man in the gym that day. I'm far from the toughest white man on the planet. I remember the first time I got put down, my dad used to say to me, you know, I used to get up in the morning for the run. My dad would call me about 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, you know. Get up, you're on. Oh, Dad, I don't want to get up. Get up out of bed, you got to run. Oh, Dad, I don't want to get out of bed, you know. He says it's going to be like dragging yourself off the canvas when you hit the deck. He said, when somebody puts you down, you have to drag yourself off the canvas. He says, that's the same as dragging yourself out of bed. And I said, Dad, nobody's ever going to put me down. Nobody's ever going to put me down. I remember the first time I was put down. I was boxing in the World Championships, and I'd been an Italian, I'd been a Canadian, and my eye was damaged, and I was fighting the Greek. The Cubans weren't there, and the world number 1 was a guy called Felix Savon. He wasn't there, thank God. But, but I boxed the Greek, and I couldn't see. My eye was damaged. First round, gave a good account of myself. Second round, I turned blindside on. Bang! I didn't know where I was going. I'm on the deck. I thought I was in bed. I swear to God, I was trying to pull the blankets over. I was trying to pull the blankets out. sort of put the blankets over me, the referee's doing the count. And I roll over onto my side. I'm lying on my side like this, trying to put the blankets over me, and I'm looking at all these people. And I thought, what are they doing in my bedroom? I swear to God. Next of all I realised, I see the referee, because he's over this and he's going, 5, 6. I thought, shit, I've been put down. And my dad's right, it's like dragging yourself out of bed. And I got up, I had enough, I walked to my corner, but I was stopped on my feet.
Okay. And just before we go, the last thing, tell us about when you actually beat a man who gave Mike Tyson a good fight, a gentleman who is known as a younger Mike Tyson, Bruce Seldon. And can you tell us what a legendary boxer Jake LaMotta said about that fight?
Yeah, I boxed Bruce Seldon in Atlantic City in the Sands Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. Bruce Seldon went on to win the world heavyweight title. And in the first round, I got battered. I went back to my corner, I was hammered, I was in bits. And my cornerman said, we're going to retire you on your stool. And I said, no way, I'm not retiring on my stool. If your referee stops the fight, you haven't got really much of an argument. But I wasn't going to retire on my stool. Anyway, that day, we'd met these 10 legendary world champions, Jake LaMotta, Rocky Graziano, Joe Frazier, Jersey Road Joe Walcott, Sandy Sadler, Billy Conn, Vito Antuofermo, Floyd Patterson, Alexa Aguero, all these great world champions. And we were boxing and they were on us. So they're sitting ringside and they're watching the American heavyweight in Atlantic City. And he was called the Atlantic City Express. He was from Atlantic City, smashing me to bits. And they were enjoying it. Anyway, I wasn't enjoying it, but I went out for round 2, and he was looking at me. He thought to himself, like, I've just smashed you to bits. What are you coming out for round 2 for? Anyway, while he was looking, I hit him. I hit him a great body shot, and I felt like, oh, and I knew then I could hurt him. Anyway, I went on to win on points. It was a great fight. It was a fantastic fight. Standing ovation. Anyway, what I didn't realise was Jake LaMotta was standing on the stage, fighting the fight with me. And he actually tripped, and he cut his eye, and he hurt his arm. I didn't realise this, so anyway, after the fight, I was the last fight in the bill, heavyweight. I had to go to hospital. I had to go to hospital after a lot of my fights. But I was sitting in the back of the ambulance. It's like when the adrenaline wears off, and then as the pain starts coming then, you know, and you're sitting in the back of the ambulance, and my face is all busted up. And I was feeling sorry for myself. I was feeling a lot of pain, and I was in pure agony. But what I didn't realise, the ambulance was actually waiting for Jake LaMotta. So, because he had to get stitches in his eye, he cut his eye, and he hurt his arm. So anyway, he's brought into the back of the ambulance. So I'm sitting in the back of the ambulance, and my eyes are all closing. And I'm looking, and it's the Raging Bull. We'd met him that day. So next of all, he looks at me, and he goes, the heavyweight, great fight, kid. And it was the best anaesthetic I've ever had in my life. The pain was gone. Right? The pain was gone. This year, I did a tour with Jake LaMotta down to Ken Purchase. Ken Purchase brought the great Jake LaMotta over, and actually afterwards, me and my fiancée Ruth, we had dinner with Jake LaMotta in Gallagher Steakhouse in New York City. We had a lovely night out with Jake this year, and you know, I hadn't actually seen Jake for 18 years when Ken Purchase brought him over to do a tour. So Ken kindly asked me to go on the tour with him. I was honoured, you know. We'd done an interview on BBC, and actually Liam that's here now tonight filmed, but this is my friend Liam Galvin. Liam has done 2 award-winning documentaries on television, and he's actually doing a Joe Egan documentary that's going to all be well be on television in January. But Liam actually filmed us being interviewed by BBC, and they actually said to Jake LaMotta, they said, Jake, you and Joe are friends a long time. And Jake said, me and Joe go way back. He says, Joe was like me. He says, Joe would fight anybody. I got goose pimples. I got the Raging Bull saying that. And I'm saying to Liam, did you get it? Did you get it? Liam said, I got it. Is that right, Liam?
That's right.
But to have, you know, to get a compliment of anybody is nice. But to get a compliment of a boxing icon, a boxing legend, is the ultimate compliment. This is the Raging Bull.